on prepper medicine. Make sure this thing is on. Yeah. Medicine gets talked a lot at these conferences. And the problem with a lot of the medicine that gets talked is it's talked by professionals with degrees and licenses and all that stuff. It's like Skinny Medic was up here talking. He can only tell you so much. Because if he tells you the really good stuff in prepping, the stuff everybody wants to know, he can lose his license. The only license I got is a driver's license. If you do anything I'm fixing to tell you and you get hurt with it, you take it to court, the judge is going to say, you listen to that idiot? But I'm putting the information out there. I'm going to be using Ragnar Benson. If you've not heard of Ragnar Benson, you've probably not been prepping long. Ragnar Benson has wrote like a bazillion books on everything from booby traps to medicine to you name it. Ragnar Benson. He also wrote this book called The Survivalist Medicine Chest. Everything I'm going to tell you, basically I'm going to give you a book report. And it's going to be out of one of these two books. I highly recommend you buy these two books. One is Where There Is No Doctor and Where There Is No Dentist. Carolina Readiness has both of those over there at their booth. Another great one to have is Emergency War Surgery. Everybody wants to reattach a limb. Well, there you go. Somebody gets shot, and we kill them in surgery. The primary sources I'm going to use for all the little stuff I'm going to show you, I'm either going to get it from Tractor Supply. Yeah, that's my pharmaceutical supply. HealthyPets.com or Atlantic Medical Supplies. Someone cough real loud when you've got that written down. Okay, you got it written down. Hey, it's me. Oh, there I am. Did I go too far? Nope. Okay. What is our greatest danger? Our greatest danger we're going to face in a grid down collapse situation when all the world is burning around us? Infection. That really doesn't sound all that romantic, does it? Infections. Infection is going to kill more people than AK-47 rounds. Infection is going to kill more people than not near anything. There was once a thing that History Channel did. It was about like the day after or something like that, where society had collapsed, and the guy was like a paramedic living in Phoenix or something. He's trying to get to Idaho, to his hidey hole in Idaho. And he takes off with his family, and they faced marauders, they faced starvation, they faced thirst. They faced everything. They finally make it to Idaho. Guy's chopping wood, cuts his finger, dies of an infection. And I'm thinking, I don't want to be that guy. First line of defense, a toothbrush. Yeah, this ain't all that exciting, is it? A toothbrush. Having healthy oral hygiene with the humble little toothbrush is going to help your sanity. It's going to help your overall health from getting creepy crawlies. It's going to help you from getting liver disease, keeping clean mouth, fresh breath, and all that other stuff. Brush your teeth. You'd be surprised how many germs and viruses are trapped in your teeth and gums right now. Oop, wrong one. Oh, and by the way, just so as you know, this is my first ever PowerPoint presentation. Thank you. My 11-year-old girl did every bit of this. She's a smart one. Our second line is just good old soap and water. Everybody wants to overthink it with a lot of chemicals and a lot of big Put that over there, because I like to go both sides. And I don't want to watch myself walk across stage. Can you put my PowerPoints over there? Ah, thank you. I don't need to see me. I see me enough. But get old soap and water. Just wash the wound. Stay clean. Stay healthy. Germ-X. Germ-X. Big bottle of Germ-X. You don't use as much water. You stay clean. You're killing the little germs. All right, here we go. Every prepper in the world thinks they need a surgical kit. It's just the way we are. We like the gizmos. Now, if I go and I do an appendectomy on him, 2 days later, I remove his gallbladder, I've probably killed him from the infection of transferring. Infection, staph infections. We all want the nice fancy tools, but we never think about the infection part. So how do we defend against infection? Pressure canner. Pressure canner, that's a poor man's autoclave. It takes 3 things to kill germs, bugs, creepy crawlies, infections, and viruses. It takes heat, pressure, and time. Heat, pressure, and time. Boiling them is not going to kill them. You're still going to have spores. You've got to have that pressure. So what's the magic formula? There it is. Write that down. Pressure canner autoclave. You want to put it on 10 pounds of pressure at 250 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes. Now, the other method is the oven sterilization, which is 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes. Somebody yell bingo when you've got that wrote down, and I'll move on. Because I've been at these conferences, you have to, oh, you took a picture. He's a geek cheater. All righty, moving right along. There we go. Now, here's my preachy part of the sermon. It's called Basic No Excuse Supplies. Everybody always wants, we got to have sutures. We got to have antibiotics. We got to have 1,000 rounds for the AR. Standard. Got to have it. Got to have at least 50 mags. Okay, that's stuff we got to have. All right. Anybody's going to say, I need to get me at least 1,500, 2,000 rounds for that AR. Do you got 1,000 aspirin? That's a $10 investment. You're probably going to use aspirin more than you are the AR rounds, God willing. No excuses. You've got no excuses to have just some Band-Aids. We'll have every kind of technical whizmo, gizmo, prepping item out there. Ain't got a Band-Aid in the house. Ain't got a Band-Aid in the house. Got all the medicine right there you can get, put in a box, and you don't need a prescription. You don't need to go to the doctor, and you've got it. I'll tell you what I did. I took one of those big plastic totes, boxes, gave it to my wife, said, here, fill this up. No excuse. No one has any excuse not to have over-the-counter medication. Over-the-counter medication will cure stuff. Will cure stuff. Stuff like cough drops. Just a cough drop. If you're out on an LPOP and you're constantly going, oh, I'm going to shoot you. I mean, it's just all there is to it. Okay, men. Heartburn. Grid down situation. Give me about a month. I'll get everything you own with some Prilosec. You're eating enough beans and rice? Oh, I'll have it because I'll trade for it. Some Rolaids, some Tums. Don't think you're escaping, women. Yeah. Give it enough time, I'll rule the world with a case of Monostat 7. Just saying. Just saying. No excuse. No excuse. You don't think about it till you need it. and the ever so popular dentistry items. Nothing I've showed you required a prescription. Instant cold packs. People overlook the cold pack. Cold pack is a great item. You've not had electricity in a month and a half. How you gonna get ice? Got to have some cold packs. Go home, you know, a coach I used to have, his favorite saying is, go home, put some ice on it to be okay. How you gonna go home, put some ice on it to be okay? Got to have some ice packs. All right, I told you, my 11-year-old girl, she loves Duck Dynasty. Getting to the good stuff, Jack. Rubber gloves. Rubber gloves. Rubber gloves is great to have. I buy them at, I buy a lot of my rubber gloves at Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight usually has them on sale for $5-6 a box. Triple antibiotic ointment. Right there's the big word. There's the big word. And that's, you know, you get the house brand at Walmart, Ingles, anywhere. That's some good stuff. And it's got 3 antibiotics in it. It's good stuff. Isopropyl alcohol, 91%. If you're going to get alcohol, get the good stuff. No excuse not to have that. Hydrogen peroxide, no excuse. That's betadine. I got that at Tractor Supply. You can actually get it in a gallon jug for like 17, 18, 20 bucks, something like that. But you'll need that when you're doing your surgeries. All right, everybody's into the stapling and the suturing. I'm into butterfly closures. I have held half my body together at times with butterfly sutures. My father, Vietnam veteran, claimed that he had held a man's intestines back inside his body with Band-Aids alone. So I figured I'm upping it. I'm going with butterfly sutures. The thing about it is everybody thinks okay, we need Novocaine. We got to do sutures. Novocaine, you got to know what you're doing to administer Novocaine, because it affects your nerves, and you can permanently damage your nerves if you're going around shooting people up with Novocaine. I do not want to go through the collapse of the civilized world going, I think they're coming in over here. I'm over here now. You know. Butterfly sutures, keep it simple. Steri strips, they work great. Super glue. Slap some of that in it, slap it together. It works great. And there's no permanent side effect. Major wound supplies. This is for the gunshots and the stabbings and the biker gangs we're all going to fight. Lidocaine. Everybody needs lidocaine, is what they say. You can get lidocaine through various pet supply stores, I guess. Get your vet to write you a prescription, however you'd like to handle it. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of lidocaine. You can do more damage than you can good a lot of times with it. There we go. Kicking chicken. I cannot stress to you enough, you need a quantity of that. No, they tell me that if you drink a lot of that, the only side effects is maybe some nausea and a headache. I've been told. I don't really know. I'm a stranger to sin myself. But there are very, very little side effects to it. Very little side effects. If you want If you want to set a dislocated shoulder, there ain't nothing better. Liquor them up, take them, start popping. Wine is fine and beer is dear, but liquor is much quicker. Don't recommend you administering this to pediatric patients at present, but I've had some highly trained medical people tell me they would have no problem getting their 10-year-old liquored up in order to sew them up, because one of the side effects, or one of the things about it is they're not going to remember it. There'll be no memory there of it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't know about that. But have a good supply of that on hand. Think Civil War. Think Civil War, 1860s. That's how they treated everybody. Liquor them up, go to treating them. You don't need a prescription to buy that. You just need to be 21. And you don't have to go with wild turkey. I just happen to pick that now of the bunch. Okay, controversial now. Everybody's been ribbing me about my tourniquets. I'll tell you about tourniquets. I own tourniquets. Remember, when we're talking grid down, when we're talking economic collapse, EMP attack, we're talking end of the world as we know it. When it goes down, it's gone. It's gone. No more. No more. Whatever you've got is what you've got. Every prepper in the world thinks, we need a tourniquet. We need tourniquets. Okay. You and it's you, the wife, the kids, the dogs, the cats, your uncle, your cousin, grandmother, whoever. That's your world right there. That's it. Somebody gets shot bad, lost a leg. We slap a tourniquet on it. That's a good thing, right? Stopping the bleeding, right? Then what? Then what? And that's the thing about, now right now, the modern world we live in, tourniquets are great. Because I'm going to slap a tourniquet on somebody, I'm going to dial 911, they're going to be some paramedics come, they're going to throw them in the back of an ambulance, they're going to take them to the hospital, they're going to put them to the OR, they're going to do all that to them. When you're talking prepping, down and dirty, in your face, it's probably better, this is controversial, probably better if that guy has lost a leg, keep it on there long enough to let him make his peace with God. Take it off. If not, he's going to suffer immortal suffrage for 3 weeks with a staph infection. Now that's the hard, cold truth of what we're talking about when we talk about the grid down. Economic collapse, society's all gone now. We're talking about making life and death decisions about a tourniquet. Because once I put that on, then what? I'm not a surgeon. I can't fix what's broken. I don't have enough antibiotics to cure that kind of staph infection. The only other option I would have is to take a little small propane torch like you use in plumbing, liquor him up good, and just try to cauterize that whole stub. It ain't pretty. But that's what everybody keeps aggravating me about my tourniquets. Because I'm telling them, hey, right now, tourniquets are great. In the future, I don't know about it. What is that? That's my suction. That's a suction machine. Use that for suction, sucking out wounds. Blood stop powder. That can be purchased at Tractor Supply for about $6. Do not use that. It seems tempting. Do not use that. It is granular. Granular? Is that a word? Granular? Granular. It's granular. Which means when you just pour it out, like you're pouring out paprika or something, it's going to clot. All that's going to clot. But what's going to happen is those little clots are going to break loose, get in the bloodstream, go to the brain, go to the heart, and you're going to die. So don't use that stuff. Don't be tempted to get that. There's a better alternative. The old quick clot that's in the that's contained inside the gauze, or the wrap the skinny medic was talking about up here earlier. But don't just pour the stuff openly in a wound. You're liable to kill them. Okay, bandages. Can't really call them sterile, but they're pretty close. You realize for the past 70, I'm going to say 70 years, they've been guys put on little white lab coats and go to a laboratory every day trying to make those things more absorbent. They don't make a better, cheaper bandage than that right there. I just the other day bought a box of 96 at Walmart for $7. It's the house brand. But you can take that, and there's something called Coflex. And that's that bandage that you wrap it against itself and it sticks. That stuff right there is $8 a roll. But me, I go to Tractor Supply and get the horse wrap, same stuff, for about $1.99. Same stuff. It even comes in camo. I got some in camo. It's cool. Anything camo is cool. But $1.99. You slap one of them maxi pads on a wound, wrap it with that stuff, you're good to hook. IVs. Everybody's needing IVs. Place right there, Atlantic Medical. They sell lactated ringers, 100 milliliters. Get them for $8.99. If you don't know what you're doing, I suggest you don't do it. You can also buy catheters, the little needle part. You can buy all the little accoutrements and accessories. Now we enter the wonderful world of antibiotics, because we're preppers and we need antibiotics. That's the thing. Everybody talks about the antibiotics. If you're going to push antibiotics of any kind, especially injectables, if you're going to push antibiotic injectables, you had best have some Benadryl. Slap them full of Benadryl, then you inject them with something. Because if you're pushing antibiotics, there's a very good chance, especially with injectables, they go into anaphylactic shock and die. That right there is your best defense against anaphylactic shock. Slap them full of that, then pump them up with antibiotics. Now, fish antibiotics. That right there is fish mox, which is amoxicillin, 500 milligram, $29.99. There's some Cipro. Cipro will cure just about anything out there. That's $79.95. Now, this stuff here is erythromycin. But notice what it says, powder packets. They're putting it in powder. All this stuff I've just showed you comes from India. It's all made in India. And you're sitting there thinking, oh, it's made in India. I better not get the stuff made in India. I hate to tell you, but all the medication you're taking right now, if you bought it at CVS, Walgreens, wherever, it's probably made in India. That's where a lot of it's made. So, thank you and come again. But the manufacturers are starting to do this right here, putting it in powder, because they know that you crazy, psycho, tinfoil hat wearing preppers are starting to buy this stuff to store. So they put it in a packet. And they put it in, it's not even in a foil packet, it's just like cellophane, which means it's highly susceptible to moisture, which means it won't last long. You can't store it long. And that's the reason they're packaging it in that way, and that's the reason they're packaging it in powder. If you wanted to take that, you'd have to mix it with water. Well, not really water, because it would taste like the mixture between kerosene, an old tire, and cow manure. It would be pretty bad. Best thing to do is put it in applesauce or some yogurt or some pudding, mix it up, give it to them. But how do we store it? Because they're already designing it for us not to be able to store it. Oh, a mason jar. Slap it in a mason jar. Put you in some of them, what's them things called that comes in shoes? Desiccants. Desiccant? Am I saying that right? Desiccants. Anyway, put them in that, seal them up. You don't have to have like an oxygen absorber or nothing. All you want to do is create its own atmosphere inside that jar and keep moisture from getting in there on it. But that's how you can store it, because a lot of them are going to the little foil packets to keep people from getting it. Do what? Color the jar? Okay. Yeah. All right. Penicillin G with procaine. Right here is this is what everybody, Ragnar Benson, he's a big fan of that. He talked about administering it. The key thing to this is that little critter right there. That's a hog. For you Yankees, that's spelled H-A-W-G-S. Hog. It's a hog. The procaine that's in it is supposed to be some sort of somewhat of a numbing agent, because this stuff's thick as grandma's molasses, and it acts as a bit of a numbing agent to inject that in. But the key thing is the hog. If you can give it to a hog, you can give it to a human. The thing that Ragnar Benson talks about in this book, notice I'm using him, I'm throwing him under the bus. He talks about in his book, if the bottle says 100 or 1 cc per 100 pound of hog, it equals to 1 cc per 100 pound of human. So if it's 1 cc per 100 pound of hog, it's 1 cc per 100 pound of human. When you talk about pediatric, y'all do the math. Octitetracycline. We use that on the farm. LA200. Oxytetracycline. If this stuff goes out of date, do not use it. Any cycline, if it goes out of date, can become toxic, and it could kill you. The other stuff is a penicillin. It's a illin-based. If it goes out of date, you lose potency. Just like taking amoxicillin tablets or Cipro or any of that, if it runs out of date, or as it ages, it starts to lose potency. So you may have to take 4 in order to get the effect of 2. You got to keep taking more and more because they lose potency. But the tetracycline, the cycline family, if they go out of date, they could kill you. Toxic. And the ever popular tetanus. This is a once in a lifetime use right here, because it is equine based. This particular one is, but all of them are animal based, and your body develops an immunity to it. So it's only good for one time. So if someone has had a run-in with a hot projectile going in excess of 3,000 feet per second, you may want to boost them with that, but you can only do it once in their life. So I think that ends the program. No, I got one more. Pink eye powder. Pink eye powder. It is a antiseptic, antibiotic, and a antibacterial. Pink eye powder. Yeah. Pink eye powder. It's a trifecta. It also is, if you notice there, it says broad spectrum antibiotic.